Jujutsu Kaisen, Vinland Saga, Demon Slayer, Oshi no Ko. If you're an anime watcher, chances are you've seen one of these shows, or all of them. They're kind of a big deal, and it's no fluke. There are countless amazing shows in 2023 that deserve a ton of praise, except for Mid Slayer. I didn't even get to see Michael Jackson do the Thriller. Most people aren't hardcore anime watchers, so it's really easy to miss a lot of the lesser known shows that not many people are talking about. Not me though, because I'm a competitive anime watcher that ranked in Masters last season, in fact. During my professional anime watching career of 2023, I've come across some pretty cool shows that you might not know about. I'll be picking one for each season, but make sure you stay till the end because I got a bonus anime that deserves so much more attention than it's gotten so far. So without further ado, here are the best hidden gems of anime in 2023. Starting off the list, we got an obvious pick, Rent-a-Girlfriend, the most masterfully written rom-com I've seen in my entire life. Oh, wait a second. My bad, there was a typo in my notes. Yeah, I meant to say Trigun Stampede. Okay, it's not the most hidden show, but it's honestly quite strange that not very many people watched it, at least in comparison to everything else in winter 2023. To be honest, I thought so many more people would check out this show because it's a reboot of one of the most beloved classics, the original Trigun. If you don't already know what the anime is about, you've got an infamous outlaw named Vash the Stampede. Oh, that's why the title is Trigun Stampede. So anyway, Vash has a humongous bounty on his head for obliterating an entire city. When two reporters find him, they realize he's actually a goofy pacifist who wouldn't seem like someone to commit such destruction. We then follow Vash as he dodges various bounty hunters and tries to stop his brother from causing even more death. Now that we've got the quick synopsis out of the way, it's time to address the elephant in the room. Vash and Wolfwood don't make out in this version. I know. For those of you that read the original Trigun manga, you would know that they have very passionate... Oh, hold up. That's not the original manga. In any case, the other thing that might detract anime watchers from Trigun Stampede is that it's 3D. And if that's the only reason why you're not watching it, let me remind you that it's animated by Studio Orange, who did Beastars and Land of the Lustrous. They specialize in 3D animation and it shows in their masterful execution. According to a CG World interview, the studio uses face capture to make realistic expressions, and they have a specialized tool that deforms the faces of each model. This ensures that, depending on the camera angle, the characters look more in line with the rest of Japanese anime and manga. It's clear that Studio Orange doesn't just crank out cheap CGI, but actually puts in the time and effort to make the full use of the medium, which allows them to harness the camera in so many more creative ways. In terms of the story and the world, it is so easy to immerse yourself in this grand space western. However, this show actually focuses more on the sci-fi aspect of the genre, rewriting many of the characters. I think the biggest criticism I can give is how Vash is a little more brooding and unappealing in Stampede as opposed to his original character. Back in the OG series, he used humor as a mask to hide his trauma and the burden of his past. Still, I very much think Trigun Stampede is worth a watch, even if you haven't read the manga or seen the original show. Its world is captivating and it looks absolutely stunning. Trigun Stampede will stick with you even after you finish the show. So it probably isn't a surprise to many of you that I like a little bit of spice in my anime, you know, some extra seasoning to give it a kick. If the food doesn't fight back, you know, it just doesn't hit the same. But every now and then, I gotta cleanse my palate, watch something normal for once. This is where Skip and Loafer comes skipping and loafering in. That was bad. Yeah, I get it. If the anime doesn't have the main guy and his stepsister in a relationship, it's like not even an anime. But what if I told you this show perfectly encapsulates that feeling of nostalgia in high school when you're just hanging out with your buddies? So yeah, there's no wild concept in Skip and Loafer, it's just a normal drama / slice of life show. Despite that, it's become one of my favorite shows of all time, deadass. I know most people would rather watch the newest epic battle shonen with epic battles and epic animation, but sometimes I forget what it's like watching a relaxing feel-good show. Basically, Skip and Loafer is just about a girl named Mitsumi Iwakura that moves in from the countryside to Tokyo and starts school there. She plans to make a good first impression, but she has multiple accidents that sort of tarnish her reputation. Luckily, she meets a guy named Shima Sosuke who helps her get to school. They manage to make it in time and it seems like things are finally going good. Then Mitsumi pukes all over a teacher. Yeah, it happens to the best of us. Despite all the tragedies on the first day of school, Mitsumi still manages to make good friends. The great thing about this show is that it captures the goofiness of anime while still portraying these characters in a more realistic sense. They really do think and act like high schoolers, each one having desires, comfort zones, and even some secrets. Characters make plausible mistakes when they talk, like how the main character accidentally calls Shima Sosuke by her dog's name because this guy reminds her of her pet back home. Even though it's not really a laugh-out-loud genius joke, it captures the essence of everyday spontaneous comedy. These characters are also subtle in how they express their feelings, seldom directly spelling out their thoughts. It's kind of like real life where it's a mind game trying to come up with what people are really thinking about. While there's no Avengers-level threat conflict, the story still keeps you engaged with quote-unquote high school drama and its fluid dialogue. It's always great to see a cast with enough chemistry that you can just put them in a room and let them run wild. They're all such different people that it would be strange to see them get along, but as they say, opposites attract. Skip and Loafer simply captures a feeling of coziness unlike any other show. So this character is just a head. A portable head. Yeah, she kinda lost her body and she works with her maid and a half-devil guy in order to solve mysteries. The setting is the 19th century but with a twist. Monsters from myths and folklore are real. Yup, it's a detective show where you watch an undead girl trying to uncover the farce of a murder or something. Yeah, the title's kinda weird, but at least it's not something stupid like, I don't know, my unique skill makes me OP even at level 1. God, I hate isekais. Undead Girl Murder Farce is actually an intriguing title, and after watching the trailer, I was instantly hooked. Aya Rindo, the head, is actually an immortal that's searching for a way to get back her body. So she teams up with Suguru Shinichi, who's a half-oni that wants revenge on the man who took away his humanity. Coincidentally, this man just happens to be the same person that has Aya's body. Together with a badass maid named Shizuku Hase, the three of them set off for, ew, France? Well, at least they don't stay there for too long. While the show has its own fair share of crazy action, the parts that really shine are when we have the characters deducing a crime. That rhymes. I've always been a big fan of detective stuff like Sherlock and the recent Knives Out films, so it's cool seeing an anime take on this genre. This is one of the few times I actually like listening to exposition, hearing how Aya solved the case. Even though it's an anime, you know, with crazy stuff that are kinda outlandish at times, these investigations all follow Ronald Knox's guidelines for detective fiction. It's just that all these supernatural elements make everything feel more fresh than, you know, your average detective fiction. As for the arcs, the show is split into 3 main sections, minus the first episode, which sort of acts like a prologue. For the first arc, we've got a regular murder mystery at this mansion, but the second arc is where things start to get heated. We get crazy cameos from various Fate characters like Sherlock Holmes, Carmilla, Jack the Ripper, and the Phantom of the Opera. We've even got Arsène, everyone's favorite Smash character. The crazy thing about the show is that it's directed by Shinichi Omata, the same guy who directed Kaguya-sama, Love is War. His distinct touch makes every scene ooze with interest, even the scenes that are all dialogue. Although the show doesn't really have mind-blowing animation, each fight flows with fluidity and style. My personal favorite is this part, when we get expert use of, editing. But that's just one weird spot in an otherwise amazing looking show. It's got the cleverness of classic detective fiction, it's got cool historical characters like Fate, and it's got the witty dialogue of the Monogatari series. Oh, and did I mention, this show has a banger opening by Classy? Okay, so I may be biased toward detective stories because the next one is Pluto. You know, what's a top anime list of 2023 without Pluto? I'm surprised this series has gone mostly under the radar because the original manga was written by Naoki Urasawa, an absolute legend. He's known for making Monster and 20th Century Boys, some of my favorite manga of all time. I was pretty excited when Pluto's anime adaptation was first announced, and let's just say, I was not disappointed. The series is about Gigguk, an android police detective working for the Europol, and he must investigate a series of murders. But these aren't just regular murders. No, somebody's killing the 8 most advanced robots that fought in the most recent war. This series is a thrilling murder mystery with loads of action, politics, and some of the most memorable character moments. To be honest, my eyes still get watery when I think about North No. 2 and his efforts to learn the piano. It's also interesting to note that Naoki Urasawa worked with Tezuka on Pluto. This is because the series is a retelling of a certain arc from Tezuka's Astro Boy, which is known as Tetsuwan Atom in Japan. Although Pluto is part of the Astro Boy universe, you don't need to have seen the original work. Pluto by itself is a magnificent piece that you definitely won't regret watching. Time for my number 1 favorite hidden gem anime of 2023, something that I like even more than everything else on this list. Can you guess what it is? Well, I'll give you a hint. The anime I'm talking about is a movie called Blue Giant. It's about a saxophone player that starts a band with the goal of performing at So Blue, the most prestigious jazz club in Tokyo. I am a sucker for music anime, so that's why I personally enjoyed this movie so much. The first thing you might notice when searching this anime is that the movie poster looks sick as hell. You might think it's some crazy battle shonen if it wasn't for the saxophone and the piano keys. But does the movie itself look as good as this poster?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Blue Giant is animated by everyone's favorite studio nut, known for working on some of the most mid anime I've ever seen. But don't let that deter you, because Blue Giant is far from mid, and if you say otherwise, well, you better watch your back late at night. Anyway, Blue Giant does start off a bit slow. It takes the time to really flesh out the three main characters, showing their relationship dynamics and how hard each of them has to work. Dai Miyamoto, often seen as a saxophone genius, has to practice day and night, rain or shine. No matter what, he won't let anything stand between himself and his passion. Yukinori Sawabe, another amazing musician, has been playing the piano since he was the age of 4, but he's still considered subpar by judges. And then we have Shunji Tamada, a complete beginner on the drums. Like Dai, Shunji practices day and night so that he won't get left behind by the other two prodigies in the band. Even though most of the first half of Blue Giant is a slow burner, it's worth the wait, because in the end, each character gets their own special moment in the limelight. It's where all their hard work pays off in the most cathartic way possible. And of course, when you watch this movie, you get to rock out to some of the best jazz you'll ever hear. 2023 has been a crazy year for anime. Some of my favorite new shows are ones that came out this year, and I would be remiss if I didn't shout out some of the lesser known hidden gems. If you've been watching this long, you're probably wondering, where's that bonus anime you promised in the beginning? The wait is over, because it's time to reveal my true favorite anime of 2023. Get Blue Giant and Pluto out of here. Even JJK Season 2 is nothing compared to this. Of course, my favorite anime of 2023 is Fate America version.